Hi there, everybody. Welcome to Gear News coverage of NAMM 2021. I'm here with Bob and Robin from the Gear News team, and we're here to talk about two exciting bits of news that have just fluttered in the last hour or two from Korg. It's the Drumlogue hybrid synth and the Wave State SE, and we're going to have a quick look at this promo video that's just been released for the Korg Drumlogue. It's called Korg Drumlogue First Look. It looks like a preview. Let's see what we can see. Hybrid drum machine.
Now this is exciting because we know very little about this other than the video.
I think this is all we know is what's in this video.
Hybrid analog digital. Okay, so does that mean it's hybrid analog digital like a 909 with sampled cymbals and analog generation?
Possibly. I think they're suggesting it has a couple of sound engines. There seem to be your analog channels, and then you've got digital oscillators, which includes their multi-engine Logue oscillators, the ones that you can change and put new things into. So there's that, and PCM samples. So it has all of that. It's like, we're not going to make a focus machine, we're going to have everything. Stick it all in the one box.
I mean, that sounds pretty cool because, you know, the kind of drum machine sounds people are frequently using now. You've got everything from those old Roland analog classics to stuff like Lindrums, right, which were purely sample based. So
yeah, there's nothing wrong in having a bit of everything, I don't think. And also, it's interesting because of those custom oscillators, they're multi-engine oscillators, that third parties are going to be able to design interesting percussive sounds, because so far they've developed oscillators for the Prologue and the Mini-Log, and effects, and now they'll be able to change that into a bit more of a percussive focus, which is interesting because the third party people who've been doing the development on it have been great. They've brought a lot of interesting things and more expansion to the Prologues and Mini-Logs of this that we've had so far.
Interesting. Angus, can you just scroll that back a little bit until we can see the front panel of it?
Certainly. Well, there's not a lot to see.
It's a frustratingly short video, isn't it?
But it is, but it's something like I think this is the clearest shot we've got.
Go. That's good. So, yeah. I mean, what looks like an XOX style sequencer.
It has a row of buttons, certainly, and those are all knobless shafts, as it were.
Oof.
Oh, nice.
So it's not the finished look.
No. This is some pre-production prototype, obviously. Little display up there, top right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's going to be very difficult until we actually properly hear the thing and get to play with it. But it's, I mean, as we said with one of the other videos, Korg seem to be knocking it out the park consistently. So
right. Yeah, I mean, our collective jaws after Monday have just, we just got them back into up here, and now they've come back with these two. Just looking, I mean, what kind? I mean, it's very early days because this is obviously a preview, but what kind of part of the market, price-wise, might we be looking at? I mean, this looks more complex than a drum brute. Are we into are we going towards Electron, the Electron, those kinds of products?
Maybe.
I mean, top of the range would be something like above €1,500, but I don't think we're going to be there on Korg pricing, are we? I don't know.
Well, I mean, we did discuss, didn't we, just the other day, is that Korg are increasingly positioning themselves as a premium brand. They're launching very premium price stuff, but I don't know, Robin. What is the market for a drum machine over €1,000? That's got to be pretty niche, surely.
It is, yeah, because it does take into Electron territory, but that's a whole other form of music making. I think it gets very in depth. It's very, very Ableton focused, very down into the box, whereas Korg doesn't really give off that vibe. It's much more of a Volca, fun, happy movement, hands-on, stumbling your way through stuff and having a good time. And that's, that tends to be in the sub £1,000 bracket, I would say. But that's probably more where I think they're going to try to aim. I'd like to think they would.
Yeah, it'd be nice, wouldn't it? If it's accessible price point wise, I could see them shifting loads of those.
Yeah,
I mean, they've referred to it as a groove box, which is a little bit interesting, because that could indicate that it can do more than just itself, that maybe it has some sequencer tracks in there that could be routed out to other sounds, or you could be using something a bit more melodic inside. But I don't know whether that's just a mix up of marketing rather than what they're actually aiming for.
Yeah, I mean, Drumlogue, could that perhaps imply that it's got the synth engine from a Minilog in there? Throwing it out there, perhaps?
Maybe. I mean, as I say, it has the capacity for that multi-engine oscillators, which could be anything. It doesn't have to be percussive. But, well, the lack of information has got us all riled up.
We're all,
what to do with that.
We're all projecting our wishes into this dark box.
I mean, there's no pad. There's no like pad to play. It's purely step sequencing.
Yeah.
So, as you say, in a bit more of an 808 style, I suppose. But
I guess Electron Digitact currently €698 on Thomann. I mean, for that money, from Korg, I can already get I think the wave state is around the same kind of price. So if this was below that, I don't know, that would feel about right, wouldn't it?
It would, yeah.
I mean, I think I'm just kind of wondering also about this kind of like having a video and you're previewing this. You're just kind of like hinting at some of the functionality on offer here. I just kind of sometimes wonder, like with these preview, if maybe then the expectations kind of grow because you're kind of projecting everything. Oh, what could it be? What could it be? I'm just kind of wondering, when it does actually drop, and we know everything. Is there a slight kind of risk that it's maybe not going to live up to that?
It's dangerous.
There's a bit of a danger, just from a marketing standpoint. But okay, I think. Yeah, it sounds promising. I think we're intrigued. I think we could say.
Intrigued, yes. I mean, I guess some of it's this virtual NAMM thing. I mean, if it was actual NAMM, then you'd have some Korg geezer being interviewed by, somebody or other, or half a dozen different people, and actually you'd be able to get into a bit more of the detail.
Right.
Whereas this, all we've got is information that they've released.
Yeah. Let's have a look at the other bit of news from Korg this morning. It's the WaveState SE. The WaveState, relatively recent product, and this is a larger version. Let's just cue that up and see what. Now I'm going to fast forward a bit because there's a bit of interviews at the beginning, but let's just have a little listen to what's going on. So the big feature here.
Oh look, there's the Miami Vice light immediately, isn't there?
Don Johnson's going to swoop in a minute and shoot at things.
So
Robin, the big, it's 61 keys version of the WaveState, but it's the big feature update here is the aftertouch.
Yeah, I guess so. That and the keyboard. I mean, as when we spoke about the ModWave just the other day, some of the response to that has immediately been, no, not another weeny little keyboard thing again. I'm a proper keyboard player. I need keys, man.
Yeah.
I need to express myself in high and low octaves in both hands at once, which is fair, And so this seems to be a response to that, because Korg have certainly been following this WaveState Op6 and then ModWave vibe with these little keyboards, which has been fine and cool and funky. But this just feels more professional. It's aimed at the player. It's aimed at somebody who wants another nice big synth and wants to take things a bit more seriously. And there's definitely room for that. Those knobs look nice, I have to say.
It's another handsome looking thing, isn't it? It really is. It's got the joystick. It's again Korg's industrial design. God, I don't want to sound like a Korg fanboy. I spotted on the comments on another video as we were accused of being shill for Korg.
I know.
If something's good, you've just got to say.
If something's good and you find this is a good package, and it almost always is what these guys are doing at the moment, then then thumbs up, kudos to them, because they're just knocking it in the park. And I think just generally, if I was just looking at what Korg have done at NAMM, I think if I'm in the marketing department at Roland or at Yamaha, then I've got to be going, we've got some work to do. I mean, the Verse Lab, interesting little box. Robin, you wrote about the Roland Verse Lab MV1, cool, clever little box. But this is a raft of releases that's really got to have them a bit worried, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, it's got a good vibe to it as well. I mean, to me, it looks familiar. It looks like an 80s digital synth, but with suddenly all these knobs all over it. So if you took those knobs off, it would be very much at home around the M1 era, I think. And so you're bringing this back into the future. You're keeping the same old vibe, but you're putting all this control and motion and accessibility onto the top. It's brilliant. It's what we want. It's what we asked for. And as you say, aftertouch has got on the keyboard, elevates it above your regular thing and gives you a lot more potential as an instrument.
It also kind of raises the thing as well. It's just occurred to me is we're in a situation now where, dare I say it, modern synths are just better than the vintage ones. Particularly like this is
contentious.
In terms of interface, at the very least, come on, this knocks the socks off any 80s digital synth in terms of interface style. Surely, interaction, like you say, between all the smooth, clean machine interface, but analog knobs, which are just a great interface. So, why would you be banging your head against the brick wall trying to program an old and reliable piece of kit when there's stuff like this?
But it's an art form. That's what you got to understand. The authenticity is an art form. It's like if you want to get a properly wave sequence sound, you have to have a data slider and a couple of buttons. That's how you do it. And if you're not doing it like that, it's not going to come out authentically because it's not reeking of that frustration, that level of
the electrons have not traveled also along the right paths. And
don't give me all this. What's all that? That's not how you do it.
We are a grumpy, miserable lot today, aren't we? Fantastic.
Awesome. Guys, thank you very much for giving us your thoughts about these two releases and some of the Korg stuff that's been announced at NAMM. Thank you very much. And thank you very much for watching. Be sure to check out the rest of our NAMM coverage on gitnews.com. Take it easy. Thanks a lot.
Cheers.
Cheers. Bye-bye.